was interesting to see that they're debating this, but of course we believe that they already are doing it, and there's ample evidence that they've been doing it for quite some time. Now, in other news, James Clapper's office has declassified yet another set of fully redacted pages. If you're watching this, I want you to take a look at the screenshot here that they've got. To pull this article, guys, up. This is from TechDirt, and they show a couple of screenshots here of what is up there. And you see at the top it says secret, no foreign, which is no foreign eyes looking at this. And if they scroll down, you see two big white boxes. Then you see a heading that says the banner reads as follows, : and then it's all white. It's all redacted. Wouldn't you like to know what's in there? I would like to know. What they're doing is they're essentially complying with the court order to release these documents, and so they comply with it in name only by redacting every single bit of the document. The entire document is blanked out, and yet they say they've released the document. That's the kind of lies and lack of transparency that we see from the NSA, from James Clapper, from these guys constantly. Working with semantics, but they're lying to our face. He's not releasing the document if he's got it totally redacted. Now, wouldn't you like to see that? Wouldn't it be interesting if they posted an unredacted copy of these documents somewhere on the internet by mistake? You know, that actually happened. That actually happened with the TSA. We reported on it here at InfoWars. We're the only ones who reported on it. That actually happened as John Corbett sued them. And of course, he's the engineer who was exposed to vulnerabilities in the scanning equipment. And as part of his lawsuit, he was able to review their documents. And they mistakenly put the unredacted documents up on pacer.gov. And of course, you can see the past articles that Adon Salazar has done. We did reports on the Nightly News. Nobody picked this up. The amazing thing is that in the unredacted documents, you can see the TSA is saying that there is no, and this is in 2011, the TSA itself wrote that there is no threat against airports or airplanes. At the same time, they were threatening to shut down all air traffic control into Texas because the Texas state legislature had passed a bill in the House. It was going before the Senate. They'd passed a bill nearly unanimously, or might have been unanimously, saying that they were going to put limits on them being able to touch children. Now we find out in an article that came out last week, researchers are easily slipping weapons past the TSA's X-ray body scanners. This is an article from Wired magazine that came out the end of last week, and they said 2 years ago, a blogger named Jonathan Corbett published a YouTube video that seemed to show a facepalm-worthy vulnerability in the TSA's Rapiscan full-body X-ray scanners because metal detected by the scanners appears to be black in the images that they create. He claimed that any passenger could hide a weapon on the side of his or her body to render it invisible against the scan's black background. The TSA dismissed his video, and they even, listen to this, they even called reporters at all the mainstream media to caution them not to cover this video. Hey, if it wasn't true, if it wasn't a fault in their system, why would they not want anybody to know about it? Now, this is what's happened now. A team of security researchers from the University of California at San Diego, the University of Michigan, and Johns Hopkins universities have been testing these devices, and they're releasing their findings. And not only did they find that Corbett's weapon hiding tactic worked, they also found out they could pull off other disturbing lists of possible tricks, such as using Teflon tape to conceal weapons against someone's spine, installing malware on the scanner's console that spoofed the scans, or simply molding plastic explosives around a person's body to make it nearly indistinguishable from flesh in the machine's images. But of course, we have to give them carte blanche to touch our children, to touch us, to do anything that they wish at the airports. And the security at the airports is no better than the security at our border. They're just harassing us. They're not harassing anybody at the border. They're not harassing the people coming into our country. Of course, 100 miles into the border, they harass American citizens then, saying that it's in the name of checking the border. They don't put anybody at the border, but they put people 100 miles in so that they can stop American citizens. Same thing is happening at the TSA, and they point out this. They said, well, it's really surprising because they tested these machines presumably without an adversarial mindset. It's a crony capitalism mindset. It was to pay off Michael Chertoff former first director of Homeland Security under George Bush. That's why they put the TSA machines in. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Joe Rogan and Alex Jones at the bottom of the hour.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
My Magic Mud is a tooth whitening powder that removes plaque and detoxifies your mouth. It's safe for your enamel, giving you a beautiful polish and a dentist-like clean after every use. My Magic Mud is also the perfect remedy for pain caused by sensitivity. It strengthens your teeth and gums for a strong, healthy smile. The ingredients are 100% natural and it's safe for children. Simply brush with My Magic Mud right before bedtime for a cleaning you can count on. Visit mymagicmud.com.
Next to water and food, you need a safe, storable fuel supply for your preparedness needs. Spare Fuel is the answer. Spare Fuel can be used in any gas-powered vehicle or generator. Spare Fuel is perfect for any unforeseen out-of-gas emergencies. Unlike gasoline, Spare Fuel is safe to store with your other supplies, and it can be stored for many years. Go to GetSpareFuel.com for special pricing. That's GetSpareFuel.com.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Welcome back to The Alex Jones Show on this Monday, August 25th, 2014. I'm David Knight here in Austin. We're going to have Alex Jones' interview with Joe Rogan at the bottom of the hour in the next segment, actually. Before we do, though, in this segment, I wanted to go over some more tech news that came out last week. And it's not just technology news, it's also political news. It has a very definite political spin to it. Just last Monday, the federal government started talking about how they want to mandate vehicle-to-vehicle communication. This is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And they want to mandate your cars sending radio signals back and forth to each other, transmitting data about the car speed, the direction, the position to other cars that are in the same area. Now, it's news to me, actually. I hadn't noticed this yet, but they're going to mandate that all new cars have rear view cameras by 2018 as well. That's something different. That's something else that you're going to wind up paying for. But this V2V communication is something that you really ought to stop and consider what's going on. Of course, the transportation system is very important to the government as a military logistical aspect to it. That's why we have our interstate system. Our interstate system was enacted after World War II, and of course it was under President Eisenhower. Before World War II, Eisenhower had written essentially, it was either a book or a pamphlet about a trip that he took with a large military contingent going from one area of the Northeast to another area, and how difficult it was to move from that one part of the country to the other part of the country because of the road system could not support the military vehicles. Then, of course, during World War II, they got a good look at Hitler's Autobahn and said, that's what we need. It was sold to the American public essentially as a way, as a convenience for our traffic, but that was really their concern. Greasing the skids and having logistical support facilitated by some kind of an Autobahn facility. That's why Hitler built it. That's why the U.S. government built it. They want to control transportation. It's a very important control node for the public. And I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, going to a Raleigh City Council meeting where some city councilor had just gone to Russia, and she was gushing about the fact that you could ride the subways there for just a nickel. And we need that kind of transportation in this small town. And so we've seen this happening over and over again, that small towns want to get these light rail systems. They can get a lot of money from the government, but nobody wants to ride them. They're not very effective because they're not individualized. Now they're coming up with what they call self-driving cars. I think a better term is robotic cars. These are not self-driving cars. What you have now is a car where you drive yourself. What you're going to have is a car that is controlled by computer software that is reporting back to the government. And one of the aspects that they're going to have with these cars is when they interact with each other, trying to correct accident situations. And what's going to happen initially is you're going to have some computer-driven cars, and it's coming very quickly. It was just back in April that they started talking about how the legislative hurdles are being taken down for testing on the roads in Europe as well as in America. And all the car manufacturers want these legislative obstacles taken down so they can move forward with their research and do final testing on the highway. But it's more than that. Our government is actually pushing to mandate V2V communication, vehicle-to-vehicle communication. Think about the problems and what can go wrong with that, of course. That allows hackers to come in and communicate. It lets anybody look at what you're doing. A hacker can break into your car then and take over the controls of your car if it's operating that way. And, of course, we've seen that happen with the Internet of Things. It wasn't that long ago that General Petraeus was bragging about the fact that your toaster oven and your refrigerator are going to be listening to you. We've now seen hackers go in and take over refrigerators that were hooked together on an Internet of Things within a house system. Very unsophisticated controls on that. They turned them into spam bots. That's right, spam coming out of your refrigerator, but not the kind of spam you eat. That's what they can do. They can be more malicious in this type of thing. But there also is an interesting take on this. We covered on the nightly news last week about the idea that if the cars are talking to each other and working out what's going to happen as a crash is imminent, they might start doing some arbitration based on who is in the individual cars. Are they going to drive your car over the side of the cliff because there are more people in the other car than there are in your car? Or maybe there's younger people in the other car than in your car. Or maybe there's an insurance comes into the equation here. Maybe the insurance companies are looking at it and saying, well, send the cheaper car over the cliff because we'll have less of a liability in this that we have to pay for. A lot of things can happen with it, but the main thing is the concern that all this information is going to be stored and sent back and controlled by the government, that they will then monitor everything that you do, as we see with the new Corvettes, looking at how fast people are accelerating. Use that to raise your insurance rates, to drive the few remaining manual drivers out of the out of the business of driving their own cars and have the government control all transportation. We'll be right back.
On the